Roundhouse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Switch. Right feet together. Over the shoulder. Kick anybody in the face. Right back, left back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To the side. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Okay, let's break up into groups by rank. We'll have all the orange belts that are here. And here we go. Their jacket. Oh, really? Sit them outside and get out of here. Come on, right on top of his head, right? Hardly. Move slowly. That's it. From up to down. It's a continuous circular motion as you come through the back fist, and it just comes right up around your head and it drops down. It doesn't stop. You're building momentum. As you're even coming up, you're building momentum for coming down because it doesn't stop. So it's not 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing stops. Ready? Boom! Beautiful. Beautiful. One more time. Ready? Boom! Right. Good. All right. On escaping ramp. Anybody guess the most missed thing? No head movement. Right. They come up, they grab, and the guy goes, "Oh, well, I'm sorry, man. That's the big move. Is to smash his nose all over his face, and we don't see that. Now, don't do it so hard you give yourself whiplash, especially in practice. But when you're doing the form, I mean, when you come forward with the hips, give a little bit of a head snap. Again, not if you have a neck problem, don't do it. We understand. But this is mostly for you guys as instructors. When you're teaching this, these are the things you're going to see most often. It's not going to be a head snap. So let's just try escaping ramp and get a little bit of a snap. Ready? Boom! Good. Again. Boom! All right. Yeah, much better. Take it easy. There's some of us that just can't do some of this stuff. So as long as you know it and you can teach it to others, I'm happy. And we'll all be happy, and so will your students. But if you show them this way, you better believe they're going to do it that way. You've got to get the head in there. So one more time. Ready? Boom! All right. On escaping ramp. As the old man used to say, it's the old Chinese guy again. Same thing. Same thing. We're not doing the head. Not everybody, but just too often we see they do this real nice, or they sort of bow. Kind of give it a little bow. Well, it's a bow, right? But there's a head snap in there. So get that head snap in there first, because it is boom! 1, 2, 3. That's when you get them off of you, and then you keep going. And like we were kicking the dummy last night, that's the kick. You put him from here out the door. So headbutt, knee, thrust kick. Ready? Boom! Good. Once more. Boom! Good. Now where I'm looking, I'm seeing real nice thrust kicks. That's the other thing on this particular technique. Thrust kicks coming up. Thrust kicks don't go up. Thrust kicks go out. Now when you're doing it in the form, if you do a real nice thrust kick, but it looks like it does this at the end, you might hear a click. That little audible click that says, I just lost a point. So in a form, when you're doing it, after you do this, you're real smart if you can hang it there for just a second. Say, look, Judge. I did the thrust kick, and that's all that that's good for. So let's, beautiful. So let's do it and hang it there for just a beat. Ready? Boom! Oh, see, I made a mistake. I looked at Doug. Of course it's going to be perfect. Let me get back here. Ready? Boom! All right, all right. Boy, I don't know. Somebody's good. Either you all or me, but this is great. Okay. Returning servants, of course, too often it's just hands. So when you get that second shot, make it a big second shot. One other thing. We're going to get into this a little later on. But a back fist does not roll around the elbow. We see this too often. They'll shoot it right, and it stops here, and they go, leave the arm here, and then just sort of roll it around the elbow. The back fist uses the whole arm, uses the shoulder, the whole arm. This part goes, there you go, that's it. This, it all goes, and try to anchor the elbow a little bit, try not to get the elbow up, because there's like a junkyard dog, man. You can shake, and I might fly all over the place, but I'm going to be hitting you in the head at the same time. I don't let go. So once I get a hold of somebody, and I don't care if it's a t-shirt, I wind up with a t-shirt. I go home with the shirt, because I ain't letting go. And that's the important part of this one. Do the thing across the chair. But if somebody's coming at you with the club, yeah, get right in there on them, and make sure you get the arm, not the club. That's the important part of that. So it's more of a launch into the guy. Let's see. Escaping wings, almost everybody's doing it great. They really, wings freedom, thank you. Wings freedom. Just about everybody's just popping that thing in there great. When you're doing it in the form, remember to look and get your elbows up to your head height. People get lazy and they do this. It's going to get you a ding. Your elbows are coming out because that tells you that you're hitting somebody approximately your own size right here. Not as good a spot as right here. Anywhere in the middle of the face. Okay, inside the storm, people are doing that good. We did that one to show the twist out. Make sure you get a good twist stance in so that you got the twist stance out. Opposing dragons, right out. Make sure you're sticking that thrust kick at the end. Let's see, Leaping Thunder. Leaping Thunder is Leaping Thunder. The only thing you can't do when you're doing it in a test is do it slow. Leaping Thunder is Leaping Thunder. That will not go in slow motion. Bonsai Run. Bonsai Run is great. There's very little going wrong with Bonsai Run. Crenshaw High Five, I think by now everybody knows you can do it this way, or you can come across. So it's either way. If you do it either way in the form, it'll be fine. You will not get a deduction for doing it one way over the other. Okay, dropping the storm. Dropping the storm is another one of those. There's two things wrong that happen. Because we throw kind of slow on each other, the guys throw slow, and it takes so long to get me to step in. It's not a step in because of here. I don't have enough to ring his bell really good. Whereas if I come out, here, I can come back in with it, and I use the whole arm. If you come into him, you're gonna constrict that arm, constipate it. The old man used to say, you get a constipated movement out of it. It's just too tight. You're not gonna get the proper motion out of it. You need the whole, you need that whole thing, the whole arm. You gotta ring his bell so hard that when you grab him and take him down, you can do that at your own leisure. Spear lightning, it's right on. Controlling disaster, there seems again to be a little, some people want to do it at 90, but it actually starts here, comes around here, take that here, and then when you come into armbar escape, you're already here. On armbar escape, the only thing you're going to see is people coming off and doing this. A little motion instead of a big motion. The trick question for your students is, you ask them, and you can kind of bait them a little bit, it's okay. Say, no, is that a cocked arm? 9 times out of 10, if they're really not thinking, they'll say, no, that's not cocked. That's fully extended. Well, it is cocked, as long as you're going in that direction. So, it kind of drives the point home. So use it. I like it. It's kind of a fun thing to do. So, but the thing is, when you do get grabbed, make sure that that arm comes up. Use the circular motion. Use the force, the centrifugal force, to drive it straight back. Inside, no, the first one was Ida Storm, right? That was Ida. Right, all right, inside the storm. The only thing to do on inside the storm is make sure that you got this arm up against your head. You don't want it out here, because if it's out here and he cracks you hard, you're going to smack yourself. So if it's up in here, you'll absorb it. You can hit me pretty hard. You absorb it through, you know, through the whole area. I'm not going to hold it out here because I'll smack myself. I've done that. I don't like it. So, in fact, one of the most embarrassing things that ever happened to me was I was freestyling one day, and a guy grabbed my arm, and I watched him, and he went bam, and he hit me in the nose with my own hand. It's embarrassing and it's irritating. And it never happened again, but I actually watched him grab my arm and hit me with my own hand. Anyway, this is basically the same thing. So when you put them up there, make sure that you make a unit out of it. Dragons and a wedge. Everybody by and large is right on with dragons and a wedge. Look, you can accept again, stick that thrust in. If it's coming up down here, click. Rear chicken kick is supposed to go to the head. Some of us can, some of us can't. Get it where you can. But the rear chicken kick is, set them up also. Set them up with a couple of spinning heel kicks. And then, just about the time he takes to do that again, when you got something coming up into his face. And the beauty of it is, he'll be dropping a little bit forward anyway, trying to get that block. All right, quick kick. The quick kick, if you haven't got it, go back and watch it on the tapes, because the quick kick, basically nothing moves on your entire body until that foot takes off. And if you get any movement here to get this foot under you, that's not a quick kick anymore. It could be a really fast roundhouse kick to the ground, but it is no longer a quick kick. And for distance on the quick kick, you're going to have to turn your hip into it, and for more distance, you're going to slide it. Circling devastation, everybody's favorite ending. It fits on just about every technique that's on the inside. Circling devastation is bam, bam, boom, boom. It's wonderful. And everybody's got that down just cold as can be. In fact, usually on the tape, when I come to circling devastation, if he's already done it 6 times, I fast forward through it. There's no sense in watching it for the 8th time. All right. Twin talons, it's easy. It's direct and it works. Everybody's got that down really nice. On opposing dragons, occasionally you go down, they hit the groin real nice, but they come out flat instead of back. And these kicks will go sideways instead of back. Watch them on that, because you want to make sure that they're getting the guy. And again, it's easier with 2 people standing there than it is doing it in the air. Chinese longhand, getting to be one of everybody's favorites also. The Chinese longhand just works so well. And it works for inside, it works for outside, it works, it's kind of a universal technique. Leaping tiger, I think by now you all know that we've sort of modified the raising kick to a dragging kick and putting your hips into it. Again, in the form, we'll take either one, so you don't worry about it. Thai boxer, the only thing we see is sort of a haphazard kick to the groin, and the rest of it works out just fine. So basically, those are the things to watch for in the techniques. And yeah, good. I'm going to go ahead and rotate now, bring Vic over, and he's going to pick it up from here. I mean, this is done. So thank you very much. Vic.
All right. You guys make us so proud of that take. What a bunch of good-looking people. I've got some things I want to teach you here. I've also got some things that I want to tell you. I have got a video collection that is out of this world, okay? And I was going through it when I'm dubbing stuff and cutting stuff, and I said to myself, you know, these guys come all the way to our seminars, and we talk about the Bruce Lee stuff. $1,000 for the footage I got. You know, I didn't get it, I thought about this just before the tournament, so I didn't have time to do it. But when we teach this stuff from now on, I'm giving you a video of all the original stuff, 1-inch punch, international stuff, all the stuff you can't get. Nobody's got it. When we start talking about the Filipino knife, I've got original Filipinos, original international stuff. I got the stuff. There's a lot of people doing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things that Mr. Parker went out and gathered. Anyway, I'm not in this one, but the next one, and from then on, we're going to have some really neat, different ones, and they'll be different each time. So I want you guys to have some special footage. When we make the first one available, anybody in this group who wasn't here can remind me, and they're only going to be like $2 just to cover the cost of the video. I've got a picture here. I've got quite a few things to teach you, but I want to teach you about our system. And one of the things in our system is the Chinese trapping, the Kendo, and the stuff. Mr. Parker was taking a lesson here from Bruce Lee. Exactly what I was going to teach you. It's a little thing. We've got the old photo album going on the internet, okay? We've got 250 pictures. First of all, the original 13 black belts under Ray Parker were the over-the-hill gangs. Chuck was the leader. I got the last match. The original guys, where they went from the over-the-hill gang was in the karate tradition. The rest of the people are not in the art anymore. So it's really neat, the original lineage came down. But I asked Chuck about some of the trapping when I started studying. He said that wasn't the system. And Mr. Parker would say that's all Kenpo, because he taught me privately, personally. I ran the Santa Monica School from 71 to 77. I never got paid. I took lessons. I got 9 lessons. They're right here. We'll get that in a minute. But what was going on was everything that he could incorporate, he would add in and call ours. Okay? Well, here's a picture, again, of Bruce teaching him what I'm going to teach you, a couple of drills. What was neat about it was Ed Parker incorporated it into our system, and he would add 6 more moves. He would add a looping heel palm check with it, a knee check. All this stuff was left out with the Consul original weight chart. They stand straight on and work the dummy. We put it to vote, you know, about the new subjects we were talking about, the different subjects. We put it to vote about lessening the rank. That was just an idea. We voted down, we're not going to do it. We're still doing all the subjects though, so they're going to be available. Also, we realized that we should have a little more material to keep some of the black belts at the schools. So we're going to work on having a little more material, some things between first and second, third. The Parker staff set, Parker knife. Val from my Montana school, Val Mary, they've been working in our form with double knives. It looks really good. I said, why make up a set when we have our own set that's doing really well? So we're going to incorporate the knife set. What I'd like to teach you is, like I said, some of the individual traps and the drills give you the sensitivity and the ability to do these traps. And then I'd like to show you how he's added them into the system, which they call them. The original Pak Sao was a pinning check. The Lop Sao is hand immobilization in Parker's terms. He had both terms. But I got to pick up because it was absolutely Kenpo. But I learned it somewhere else first, and it really wasn't. It's all Chinese, so it's okay because it is sort of our realm. And Mr. Parker's system of Kenpo was something from everywhere, from everybody. He added and took from everybody. He studied the Filipino knife and stuff. He studied a lot of things. His knife system is just like his punching and his ideas. So after you understand what he's doing with the hands and the things. Joey, aren't you going to join us? Join us. Anyway, I'm going to put this picture up over here. I hope it's still there when we anyway, if you want to check it out, it's a pretty neat little picture. I'll put it on top of the archive. We're also having a party afterwards. After we get done here, after the tournament, we're going to have a party at the bar downstairs from Chuck's tent. I said, well, they're with the masters, you know. It's kind of funny. They all got their own technique, right? All right. Start up here. All right. Let's officially open the class with short salute. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to teach you guys. All right. Again, Parker used a lot of this stuff in techniques. He added what was called looping heel palm checks for trapping. He would hit parallel to your head and trap your arm just by checking. He said, don't step forward with your front foot, step forward with your rear foot. Don't move your front hand with your whole body weight. So you have to make them a little sharp, delineate it a little bit more. And he's trapping. The way he trapped over the top. Now, if you see a knife fight, he goes, cut stick, cut, cut. He's using the same basic movements he is with the trapping, the hit, and the looping heel palm check. He's like an extra that he added onto the trapping, okay? When you do a simple trap, he pulls it down. Okay, trap. You're canceling. I want you to understand this. We're cut directly in half, cut in half again. There's 2 high zones and 2 low zones, okay? And the wing chunk is okay. There's 2 high gates and low gates. So when I do my inward block, my other zone's open. That's what this hand checking is all about. Well, when Parker would cancel, he wanted to cancel your height, width, and depth zones all at the same time. You guys basically understand what the height, width, and depth zones are, right? Width is wide, depth is depth, and height is here. So when I cancel this height zone, I'm bending over a bit. We call it bending the rubber band. If your leg is straight, you can kick it. If I bend you over, it's harder to kick when it's down. It's called guidelining. Until you go up the chest, into the chin, it's guidelining. You're guidelining right up, just like up into there, okay? Boom. When I come in and I hit, I don't just hit, I go into a trap. I go into a choke. Usually I headbutt from here. And I've got this to do this with, which is a little extra move that I like. And it's all off your basic trap movement. Now you see Mr. Parker move out, and he would, real pretty. He's looking for beer bottles and things. Circles of protection. And as I'm moving away, if I feel something, if I get an overhead, boom, I go right back into and back out. Now what I just did there was, if he grabbed me an original bear hug, right here. I know where he's at. Those are my stomping spots. You guys have heard me talk about that before. But I want you to be able to automatically take 3 people and take this guy out and know right where his head's at and be able to get into the next guy. Because that's what this is. These techniques are developed for 3 and 4 people. I got to tell you, I brought all the dummies because I'd like later on today for us to put all the dummies on a dummy stand. I was working at a nightclub not too long ago. Got hit the other doorman over the head with a beer bottle, and broke it. And the 4 of us danced out in front. Now, luckily, Sung Han was there, but he didn't do any good. But there was 4 people, and they came in like this. Bang. And after working the 4 dummies, the big guy was holding his throat. Sung Han bumped me on the way, and I elbowed him square in the mouth. I kicked both guys' legs out there. He saw the guy hit the bottom. The owner comes out and goes, "What happened to you, Chris?" Well, Vic hit me in the throat. Sung Han goes, "I never elbowed so hard in the mouth." I bumped Vic on the way in. I should have said, "Fight, Sung Han," and let him go. Sung Han had me chokehold immediately. But we took the 4 people out. I mean, they went out like that. And I go, "Wow." And the owner comes out, Vic, back up in the balcony, and I go, right.
On Whipple. Very Berkshire.
or a kick. He's responsible for that. He also is responsible for angles. If they do an improper or wrong angle, he deducts them on that. And the only thing that we cannot do is we cannot change judges during the competition. So if it
My name's Nick Jones. Yes.